Major funding for these programs is made possible by grants from Chase Commercial Term Lending, New York Community Bank, Capital One Bank, Perfect Building Maintenance, M&T Bank, Customers Bank, Genova Burns, Terra CRG, Meridian Capital Group. Additional support is made possible by AKA Hotels Corman Communities, Aerial Property Advisors, AVR Realty Company, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Bank Leumi USA, Briarwood Organization, CBRE, Citizens Bank, Colliers International NYC, Collins Building Services, CPEX Real Estate Services, Cushman & Wakefield, Dime Savings Bank of Williamsburg, Douglaston Development, Levine Builders, Eastern Union Funding, Fisher Brothers, First Nationwide Title Agency, Flushing Bank, Friedman, Handler Real Estate Organization, HAP Investments, Hersha Hospitality, Hodges Ward Elliott, Inc., Investors Bank, James D. Kuhn Real Estate Center at Syracuse University, Kilroy Architectural Windows, Madison Realty Capital, Matone Group, Mercantile Commerce Bank, New Banks, Newmark Grubb Knight Frank, Optimum Window Manufacturing Corp., People's United Bank, Rosewood Realty Group, SJP Properties, Sterling National Bank, Stonehenge Partners, TD Bank, The Continuum Company, The Moynihan Group, and these friends.
You know, families who grew up in Czechoslovakia and Italy. Grandfather who was a New York City policeman. A father, an accountant who was in the military, in the infantry. Born in Queens, growing up in Queens, working in the park systems, working in the concessionary system. Maybe I'm going to get involved with biology. You know what? I really don't want to be a physician. I want to maybe get involved with something called podiatry. But you know, besides wanting to be a podiatrist, I really want to educate people. I want to give back to the community. So I'll become an instructor. Not an instructor. I'll become an administrator. So I'll become an instructor, a practicing podiatrist, and the dean of the New York College of Podiatric Medicine, the oldest and most established school of podiatry in the country. And my friend, Mike Trepel, thanks for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So tell me about the relatives on both sides. Let's start the Italian side, because we have a picture of the great parents.
You know, it's an interesting combination of Czech and Italian heritage, but I know one other person in this world who has the same, aside from my brother. My mother, she was born here. My grandparents on her mother and father were born in Italy.
So when did they come over?
In the early 1900s.
Where'd they come to?
They came through Ellis Island. I actually have a copy of, through Ellis Island, of the manifest where my grandmother, not my grandfather, but my grandmother.
And where did they reside?
She originally came, she had an older brother who was in Jersey, and so she went initially off the boat to New Jersey and then somehow ended up in East New York, which was a big Italian community. She was born right on the slope of Mount Vesuvius, in a small little village there. And I guess there was that neck of Italy.
And that side of the family, what were the Italians involved with when they were in America?
My grandfather was a butcher, and he was, I guess, a little local celebrity in there. He was a butcher. He ran a car service, a little garage.
And this was in East New York?
This was in East New York, Pacific Street. And
so that's that side. Let's go to the Czechoslovakian side.
The Czechoslovakian side. Well, my grandparents were actually born here. My great-grandparents were born in a little town outside of Prague, Kunta Hora. And he came here, he was about 18 or 19 years old. And it's amazing when you think back then in the mid 1800s, what that journey must have been.
And he settled at that time in Yorktown?
He settled, yeah, on the east side, which
New
was
Yorkville,
on the Yorkville East 73rd Street,
the old German
the old German Czech
community.
community there, and
What was he, and what was
he was a cigar roller, and he had five or six kids, and my grandfather, being the oldest, was one of them. He was in the Navy. He came back from the Navy and went on the police force, and then met my grandmother, who was also from that east side of Manhattan in that very close-knit community. And they got married, and then they moved to Jackson Heights, Queens, where my father was born.
Now, your father was born in Queens. Your father went to Queens College, you told me.
He was the second graduating class of Queens College, and he was young. He was like 17 or 18. He was fairly, I'm told, fairly bright kid. Elementary school, skipped a few grades, and ended up going there. He was 14, 15 years old, going to college.
Then he was drafted.
He was drafted in World War II, fought in the infantry, won a Bronze Star.
We have that picture, and he won a Bronze Star.
He won a Bronze Star. He had, had some pretty close brushes, but not everybody in his little platoon came back. He was fortunate.
So let's talk about Mom, because your mom met your father later on. When your father came back, and you said, I think even before he went, he worked for a small little airline called Pan America.
That's when he came back from the
So
war.
when he came back from World War II, he takes a job at Pan Am as an accountant. And your mother, who grew up
in East New York,
meets him at Pan Am.
She was a secretary,
right,
and he was a staff accountant there.
Right, and they get married, what, I think 47?
1950.
1950.
1950. They got married, and they moved to Bayside, Queens.
Right, and you had a brother?
I had a brother Joe, younger brother.
Right.
And so the two of us were born there.
So where did you go to public school?
Went to the public PS 205 in Bayside, Queens. My brother and I both went there.
So what do you remember about growing up in Bayside, Queens as a kid in the 50s?
You know, everybody's mother was your mother. You were on the street, mothers.
But it was nice. It was everybody was a family.
It was a family. If you were out on the street, if your mother wasn't watching, somebody else was watching. Mother was watching.
And there was stickball.
And we played stickball. That's how we enjoyed ourselves. We went out and got a quarter and bought a little Spalding baseball and went out in the stoop ball, stickball. I think when I was 13, we moved to Douglaston, Queens. My grandfather had passed away. My grandmother then came to live with us, and they bought a bigger house in Douglaston.
So you're in Douglaston, and where do you go to school at this time?
I went to Cardozo High School, again, a city high school, and then I went to Queens College.
Now, when you were growing up, you said to me you worked in the parks.
Yeah, I was, during high school in Alley Pond and Cunningham Park, I was selling ice cream, pushing a cart, grilling hot dogs.
Were you a good humor man? Or, I mean, I initially had my time on the beach. I still remember ice cream and orange drinks with the good humor. I don't know how I was able to walk, but it was only a 2-day job I think I had.
Yeah, well, this was a summer job, and we pushed this heavy cart, and got an ice cream pop was 15 cents, soda was 20
But it was a good job. It was
a great job. It was fun. I was outside. I met good people.
So you went to Cardozo High School, you said?
Went to Cardozo High School. Always interested in science. Ever since a kid,
So how did you get the interest in science?
I don't know. It's just as a small. I was always fascinated. I always wanted a chemistry set or a botany set. I can remember, in second, third grade, got a soil testing set that I could test the pH.
So what your parents, think about you getting involved with the healthcare world? Were they enthusiastic?
I think so. I'm the only doctor that was in the family, so I think they were very happy to have a son.
So when you graduated Queens, as I was saying earlier, you had the opportunity that you could have gone into medicine. Mm-hmm. You went into podiatry. How come podiatry?
It's an interesting. I was part of the pre-medical club that they had there. And one of the functions of the pre-medical club was that you heard various specialties, people coming in to talk about the dentist, a chiropractor, physician, osteopathic physician. And I was sitting at a meeting, and there was a podiatrist who came in, practiced somewhere in Queens. To this day, I wish I knew who it was, because I would love to give him a big hug and thanks. And he talked about podiatric medicine as a career and what he does, and the lifestyle, and that it was a sane lifestyle, that yes, you do have emergencies, and yes, you do have urgent things, but for the most part, it was a good, stable, family-based. You could raise a family, you could have a home life, you could have a personal life, you could balance what it was, and it caught my attention. And I said, oh, that sounds like something
Now,
that's...
Few people realize that when you went to podiatry school, there were only 5, I believe. There were a total of 5 colleges of podiatry, and you went to the founding school, the M.J. Lowy College of Chiropody.
Back in those days, yeah.
Called Chiropody, but by the time you were there, it was the M.J. Lowy School of Podiatry.
Actually, when I got there, it had just converted, or a few years, into the New York College of Podiatric Medicine. And the curriculum is now, well, even how it's advanced since I was a student in 30-some-odd years.
You start at the College of Podiatry in what year?
1977.
Okay, 1977. Podiatry, like medicine, is a 4-year career path over the period of time.
Correct. 4 years. There was a standard pre-medical curriculum that the organic chemistry, the physics, the English, the biology, which any medical student takes.
You finished in 81.
Correct.
Okay. There was the North General Hospital.
Correct.
On 121st Street something.
23rd to 24th in those days.
123rd to 124th. And you went over there and you got involved as a resident, but it was a 1-year residency?
No, it was 2 years.
2-year residency.
2 years surgical residency.
So as I was saying, many people would say, you know what, at this time in my life, I've had 6 years of, I've really had a total of, with college, I've had 10 years now, 4 and 4 and 2 years of residency. Some people would say, I'm going to try to go out on my own, which you did, but you took the initiative to get involved with the College of Podiatry. How'd that come about?
Well, I loved my time at the college. I loved the faculty there. I loved the teachers. I loved the colleagues. I loved teaching. Medicine is taught in a hierarchy. The senior student teaches the junior student. The first-year resident teaches the senior student. So I always I enjoyed that. It was always good. It was always good to be around interesting cases. The college was a referral source for difficult and complex cases.
Right, because the college also has a foot clinic attached
Correct.
to the building. And at that time and continuing today, the college, which is located on 124th and 125th Street, off Park Avenue, between Park and Madison Avenue, is a community. It's a community. It takes care of the community facility because...
I think it's a wonderful community facility there that for many underserved, it's a medically underserved area, and for many people there, this is their entree into the healthcare system. They have a sore on their foot, or they have a problem on their foot, and they come in and we work them up, and not a week goes by that we don't pick up undiagnosed diabetes or HIV or neuromuscular disease or undiagnosed heart disease. We like to say that the foot is kind of the mirror of the body. You can find many systemic diseases that initially manifest in the foot.
So when you finished the 2-year residency, you got accepted to be part as an instructor of the...
I did, yes. There was an opening there. Someone said to me, why don't you apply for it? And I did. And suddenly now I'm on the other side of the desk.
So that's 83.
1983.
1983.
Yes.
Now, at the same time, do you open up a part-time office in Brooklyn?
It was about 9 months later.
So how did you decide that, you were a Queens guy? How did you decide you were going to go to Brooklyn?
Well, I had a classmate who had only did a 1-year residency, and he was in that practice, a well-established practice, had been there for many, many years, and he said we could use another pair of hands here. And I said, well, that complements my teaching and my academic. It's nice when you're teaching students and residents that you're teaching them to the world that they're going to face, and you're not just sitting in an ivory tower. You're not just boxed in there in a bubble, that you experience what's happening in the real world. You know what it's like, the joys and the problems that practicing physicians, podiatrists face. So it helps you, I think, become a better teacher. And to this day, I still have a private practice.
So when do you become vice president of academic?
That was in 1993, but prior to
prior
that,
to that-
I actually was an instructor, and then there was a vacancy as the chair of the department, and they needed a full-time chair, someone who was there and could spend and devote the majority of their time. Some of the more senior people had more of a commitment to their private practice, and they couldn't devote
So
all
when
the
do you
time.
become the chair of this?
That was 1985, and I administered that. And there was a lot of paperwork and a lot of administration, and it was to some extent on-the-job training, learning, because we were trained as doctors, as clinicians,
Correct,
physicians,
not as administrators.
not as an administrator and not as an educator.
As an educator, right. So when do you become the vice president of academic affairs and the dean?
That was in '93. We had a new president, Louis Levine, had come on, who was not a podiatrist. The prior president was a podiatrist. So Lou Levine comes on as president, and he needed a chief academic officer, someone who obviously knew podiatry, knew podiatric medical education, knew clinical medicine. And he tapped me, and we've gotten along, fabulously since then.
But let's talk a little bit about, what has happened in podiatry, and because people don't really understand. People, as we said at one time, they thought a podiatrist was a chiropodist. I don't know what was the chiropodist. What's the definition of a chiropodist?
Well, a chiropodist comes from chiro and pedis, hand and foot, and that was its ultimate, and probably derived out of Barbiz, like most surgeons did, going back to the Middle Ages. And they started out doing basic corns and calluses and palliative care of foot problems. But then as the education advanced and the training advanced, it evolved into a defined medical specialty. Not in the sense that a dermatologist just treats skin, or a neurologist just treats nerves, or an orthopedist just treats bones. We treat an anatomic region of the body. So when we treat the lower extremity, you're taking care of vascular disease, dermatology, we take x-rays, we do physiatry. So I could go into one room, and for that patient I'm a rheumatologist, and the next room I'm a dermatologist, and the third room I'm a neurologist, depending upon what their problem is. So we look at an anatomic region of the body, and we treat it comprehensively.
Now, what has happened also over the years is the practice has progressed on the amount of things that you're able to do with regard to surgery. And in certain states, isn't it true that you can even go higher regions, or you're allowed to?
Yes. New York State, in the last 2 years, has increased its scope of practice law to now include ankle surgery and ankle trauma. So that's now within the scope of practice.
What do you mean before? But that was the foot, the ankle, foot and ankle?
Well, it stopped at the ankle bones, and now actually include the lower leg bones. Trauma, ankle fractures are now within the scope of practice for those who have demonstrated competency and training to do it. The residency program now is 3 years in training. Every graduate does a minimum
right.
of 3 years.
As you said, your partner in the business practice only did 1 year, and many people, when you graduated in '81,
some didn't do any
residency. So now it's a mandatory. It is a requirement to have a 3-year residency.
That's right. It's the only training model that's available now. It's 3 years in length. And it's a requirement to get a license in all states. You can't go and get a license in any of the states without passing boards and doing the training.
In addition, the number of schools have increased from 5.
That's correct. Yeah. There are 9 now. There are 9 colleges of podiatric medicine. One in New York, one in Philadelphia, Ohio, Chicago, Miami, Des Moines.
Now I know you're on the national educational portion of the curriculums for the other schools, aren't you?
That's correct. Well, the accrediting body for podiatric medicine is the Council on Podiatric Medical Education. This is the group, the agency that is in turn accredited by the Federal Department of Education to go in to accredit the podiatric medical schools, the residency programs, the certifying boards. And I've been on that now, we'll get 6-7 years. This year I'm the vice chair. Next year I'll be the chair of that.
Now, with regard to that, how many leading hospitals in New York now have podiatric residency programs?
Just about all, in one fashion or another. You know, it's funny. When I was a student, you know, podiatry was not welcome. And, you know, in some hospitals, the only way a podiatrist was going to get into that hospital was as a patient. And now it's turned around completely.
Right, you had mentioned to me, we know one of your board members, Rock Positano,
right,
is, you know, like the podiatrist in chief of podiatry at the Hospital for Special Surgery. And you had mentioned to me that Joe Zuckerman, who runs, you know, who's the head of, all spine and chief in surgery
at HJD.
At Hospital for Joint Disease, MOU Langone, is asking to find a chief of podiatry over there, too.
Well, he did. He actually, Joe reached out to me last year and said, can you help me find a full-time podiatrist to come on staff? That would have been unheard of years ago. And most large orthopedic groups now are recruiting podiatrists to be part of the group. So it's really been, in the 30 years I've been in the profession, an amazing forward movement of it.
So, you know, I was fortunate during a number of years to be with you as a member of the faculty, teaching a course on business to fourth-year podiatrists to give them a little idea of the future in the world. But where are the people coming from? I remember years ago, when we go back 10, 12 years ago, a good number of the people who went into podiatry were a lot of people from the former Soviet Union who could not get a medical license. Today, where are they coming from?
Well, everybody who comes into the profession has to be a pre-medical student. You can't just graduate as a English major and
right.
say, well, gee, I want to be a podiatrist.
You still have to take the MCATs.
Everybody has to take the MCATs, and they have to have the pre-medical curriculum to come in and prepare you, because the first 2 years of the curriculum in podiatric medical school are the preclinical years, and that's analogous to any medical school. The gross anatomy, we dissect cadavers from head to toe. The embryology, physiology, biochemistry is all the same. And those are fairly rigorous courses, and if you don't have the background for that, then you just...
But what's the nature today of the students? Are they American? Are they...
Overwhelmingly American. We're seeing a larger influx of Asian students. That's probably the largest increase in terms of ethnicity.
And how many students do you have each year now?
The class is capped at 109 per year. In any health profession school, the hard part of training them is in the clinical assignments. You can put as many as you want in the lecture hall. And
right, but you don't have enough room.
But you learn medicine at the bedside. You learn it in the treatment chair, in the hospital, on rounds, in the operating room. That's where you learn it, and you have to have a sufficient number of training opportunities. And training opportunities for all medicine is in the New York City area, because the downsizing of hospitals, because of hospitals closing, is a challenge. I was down in Washington last week with several of our osteopathic colleagues, actually lobbying. We met with Senator Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, Representative Rangel, to really lobby hard that continue funding of graduate medical education and supporting medical education bills, student loans. It's an ongoing challenge, but I think, one that we're navigating well.
So, one thing that we haven't gone over is that when you were, in college, you were an orderly, right? You said...
I started out as an orderly in a nursing home, and then I got a job at St. Clair's Hospital, the old St. Clair's Hospital on West 52nd Street.
Now, but at St. Clair's Hospital, you met somebody, right?
I met, a very important person in my life. I met my wife over there. She was an emergency room nurse.
right? We have the wedding picture of you with your wife.
Yeah, that
And
was,
you had the short hair and your brother had the long hair over there.
That's
and
true.
your mother and dad on that one, okay.
My dad had no hair, but that's
Right, and then so what year did you get married?
1979.
You have what, 4 children, right?
I have 4 children. The oldest is Jennifer. She married Kevin, who's an attorney, and fortunately they stayed here in New York. They gave us a wonderful, beautiful grandchild, Charlotte.
So how old is Charlotte?
Charlotte now is 15 months.
Next in line.
Next is Michael. He's here in the city. He's a CPA.
Right, he went to Marist?
He went to Marist. Graduated
remember.
Marist. Yeah, that's actually both boys went to Marist, but he went to Marist. He came out. He worked first for Ernst & Young in audit. Then he went to Citigroup to do SEC filings. And now he's with a company here on 23rd Street, AppNexus, which does computer software. And they're about, I believe, doing some SEC work that they brought.
And then the next one, who's
Danny's also an accountant. He's
another Marist graduate.
Another Marist grad. Another CPA. He works for Price Waterhouse.
And last but not least?
Last is the baby, Megan. Megan is a nurse. She graduated from Catholic University last year, Bachelor in Nursing, and she's working at Mount Sinai now on a surgical oncology floor.
So you couldn't get Megan to decide to go into podiatry?
She followed her mother. She went into a nurse. She said, "Dad, you work too hard." So.
But look, for the kid who grew up in Queens, and who always said, I want to get involved with medicine or healthcare, you've been more involved. And I think one of the most important things is, in order to take care of the people in healthcare, you have to have the training. Yeah. And the great thing, because I've known you and I've known the College of Podiatry for many years, that it's trained some of the better people. And as the aging population grows, healthcare is important, and as you said, the foot is a very important portion of the health. And I'm happy to consider you a friend and happy you were here today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.